That Guy Show.
We're back.
I'm Matt.
I'm Will.
Episode 2, the Grammys, football, and horror flicks. Check it out.
It's going to be good, man. Let's do it.
Got me like, yeah, way up in the skies, like, living my time, just trying to get my life right. My God never fails, so I'm here no tell.
All right, man.
Yeah.
How you been?
I've been doing great.
It's been a while since we've casted some pods.
It has been a little bit of a while, but that's just because we've been busy. Busy men, traveling the world.
We have been traveling like crazy. So how's your past couple of weeks been?
Oh, they've been good. You know, after we survived sleeping on the side of an interstate in an ice storm. Turns out the best time to do a road trip is not during the time when it snows once a year in Mississippi.
I know. So we mentioned in the last podcast that we were going to go to DC. We're going to this march, and yeah, we had this huge winter storm that came in, and you know, we're from Louisiana. So what do we know? We get to Mississippi, and the buses are like sliding on the interstate. And so they pull over, and they stop, and it was another 12 hours in the ice. Now, Matt, your bus was like, you stayed on the interstate for the 12 hours, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of issues going on. We don't want to get into the details, but the important part is that we were safe, sound, and even though we were sleeping on the side of the interstate, I mean, we did have, like cable, internet connection, DVD player, heater, and individual plugs for everybody's cell phone. I mean, it wasn't like we were roughing it or anything, but it was a bus, and we did sleep on it.
Well, we were blessed because we got to, eventually a cop came up and came up the opposite way of an on-ramp and came to our buses and said, hey, there's a gas station right up here. We already talked to them. They said it's cool to park in their parking lot 24 hours. They've got bathrooms. Because you can't go numero dos on the bus.
No, you can't. You can, but you wouldn't want to.
No, you wouldn't want to. I feel bad for the people sitting in the back. So
it's hard to make that a secret.
Yeah, we were able to get off and buy snacks and stuff like that. But it was a fun trip in general. But I'll tell you what, we vlog for our church, and we were vlogging the whole time. So I had camera equipment on my back the entire march, the entire trip. By the end of it, my back was like on fire, but I was so tired that I slept in any position that I could find a position to sleep in on the bus ride back.
Did you actually take the equipment off or just kept it on there while you were sleeping?
Oh, no. When we're on the bus ride back, the equipment is cooling off.
But vlog 1 a.m., still sleeping, started to drool.
Yes. Oh, there was a lot of drooling happening, but I could care less. But when we got off the bus, that Sunday when we got back, dude, I was hurting. I was having trouble like standing up straight and walking. And so we got home, got on the comfy couch, and everything felt really, really, really bad. So 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since this trip. And my back has just been killing me. 3 days ago, I started feeling better.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And then 2 days ago, even better. Yesterday, I felt good. Little bit of discomfort, but like it was good. No pain. I haven't worked out since November. Decided, okay, Thursday night, I have off. I finally took a break from doing some extracurricular stuff at the church.
Whenever I work out for the first time in months, I always just go out like a boss. Like you figure, this is my one time working out. I might as well just go like over the top.
The one time, yeah.
I'm going to max out. What do they call that in PE? Where you max out your weight or something? I don't know.
I don't work out.
We weren't really athletes, as you can tell. Anyway.
So I go to the gym and I decide, you know what? I need to like do some stretches on my back, and they have this whole like jungle gym contraption that you can stretch on. So I'm doing it, and I'm feeling things I never thought I'd feel, and it was good, but it was just uncomfortable. But I don't know, it was a weird feeling. So I said, okay, I'm gonna kind of work out my back a little bit. I need to get those back muscles going. No,
not a good idea.
Not a good idea, dude. So I went to the gym for a total of 22 minutes.
That's not very long. Don't they usually say 45 minutes is like the...
From the time I parked, from the time I got back in my car.
20 minutes.
22 minutes.
Oh, wow. So you went straight for the
On
back.
the dot.
You kind of like walked in and was like, you know what? I'm going right for
Screw
the
it.
back.
I'm going for the back.
Okay.
So I took it easy. I didn't do anything crazy. And felt a lot of discomfort. It didn't feel very good. And I was like, all right, let me do some stretches. So, I mean, you go to the gym, right? Or you go to a gym?
I do attend a gym. I walk through it. I do go to it from time to time. It's
Okay.
hard to say.
So,
I always work out.
you ever see the guys stretching on mats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Those
All right.
guys are weird.
They are, because they have these like roller things that they use, and they stretch out their inner thighs. I mean, it literally looks like they're humping the mats.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
I know
like,
what you're talking about.
I'm going to do that, but for my back.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I lay this roller down.
That's only for the top of the back, by the way. That's not supposed to be the lower
You are
back
absolutely
situation.
correct,
Okay.
because something happened last night.
Oh. that is the top of the spine exercise.
It felt so good. And I was rolling it on the lower back, and I was like kind of doing like, not sit-ups, but I was doing like maybe a very slight crunch. And
a crunch while that
very
giant
slightly, like
foam roll is in
Yes.
your lower back.
And I'm going lower back, upper back. I'm just rolling on the back. I'm like, gosh, this feels kind of good. Like it hurt, but it was a good hurt, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it makes sense.
So, unfortunately, I stopped the exercise. I sit up. And as soon as I like had that momentum going forward, sitting up, I swear I cried out of my left eye.
Yeah.
Like tears came out.
Yeah, you popped a tear.
Oh my gosh. I could not get up. I sat there for like 5 minutes. Of the 22 minutes I sat there. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get up? This is the afternoon on a Thursday night. And like, so we have Mardi Gras that's starting and parades that are starting that happen. And they're starting like tomorrow night.
Yep.
So the gym was packed of like, hey, I can't go to the gym tomorrow.
I'm going to be riding on Sunday.
You are?
Float 14. Look me up.
So I can't
Riverside.
get up. Riverside.
Anyway.
So I can't get up. And I'm looking around, and there's like a whole bunch of people. So I pull out my phone. I have headphones, and I pull out my phone like I'm looking for the next track to listen to, and I'm panicking. I'm like, how am I going to get up?
Have you ever noticed, and I know this is going to sound really creepy, but if you ever want to disappear and pretend like you're like doing something, you just put your phone up on your face.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I've been in a situation where I'm like, okay, I feel really awkward standing here. So I just put my phone up on my face and just, pretend like I'm talking. I don't really, it's not like I'm saying words, I'm not like, yeah, girl, tell me what you said. But like, I just like have it there and I'm just like, and then all of a sudden I'm invisible and
Right.
I'm cool. I'm not creepy guy sitting on a bench.
Well, it's 'cause
and I
you-
was like, this is how I would stalk a person. Like if I was stalking a person, I would definitely take my phone out and just have it on my ear all the time.
Well, the weird thing, like another little tangent is I don't even think the stalkers do that. I think the stalkers still just stalk.
Yeah, that's
They're
what
that
makes them
creepy.
creepy. Yeah.
So I finally decide, okay, I need to get up. So I get on all fours, which again would look weird in any other situation, but I'm on these stretching mats.
Oh yeah, you could be doing that Pilates, the yogi. You could do that yogi stretch.
Yes.
Yogi stretches.
What he means is Pilates and yoga.
This translation was brought to you by William.
Yes. So I finally get up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go walk it off. I take 2 steps, and the pain is like so intense. I waddle through the crowd, through the crowd of people like running on treadmills, doing the ellipticals, and I'm just looking at them like, I'm so jealous of you that you can move your body. And I'm like waddling back. Luckily, I kind of maybe looked like somebody that was really big and worked out. Like my thighs were like thunder thighs big. But of course, when you look at me, you realize that
Like
I
that guy.
pulled
That
something.
guy was working out hard.
So I go and turn a corner. I took a left instead of a right, and taking a right is the exit. Taking the left is to the basketball court. I decided, play it off, dude, because it hurts too much to turn around. So I go on the basketball courts, not thinking anybody's going to be really in there. There's dudes playing basketball in there. So I just said, okay, I'm going to keep waddling. So I'm waddling across to the very end, put my back against the wall, and I'm like, okay, this position doesn't hurt right now. So I'm just imagining these guys playing basketball, and they see this dude waddling in and then putting his back against the wall and just stays. So I decided, okay.
That's when you take your cell phone out and be less creepy.
Well, I wasn't thinking right because I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
So I start stretching again, and I go to touch my toes.
Oh, that's
And I got
terrible idea.
down, and then I couldn't get back up.
Oh, yeah.
So, dude, I'm in the downward
Oh, yeah.
toe stretch, and I can't even touch my toes, but I'm touching my toes
Yeah.
because I'm in so much pain that now like my hamstrings are burning and my back is in pain. I can't get back up. I finally get on all fours in the gym, use the wall, get myself back up, and I waddle all the way to the car. I get home.
Sitting down was in the car is probably painful too.
It didn't feel good. No, and I have a lower car, so it definitely wasn't good.
You need some rock tape, dude. You need someone to tape you back up. There's like this. Have you ever seen rock tape?
No.
It's like I don't know what's like. It's like tape, but stretchy. And if people I think you have to know what you're doing. But like they tape it along your back, like where your muscles are, and then it prevents your back from moving. I mean, you still walk stiff like a waddler, and then if you try to, instead of feeling your back muscle pain, you just feel like the pain of like 1,000 duct tapes like ripping at your skin. You're like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna move that direction. But it's a good way to get over an injury, man.
Nice. I'm gonna have to try that out.
Yeah, I'm sure you can YouTube it.
Yeah. So I get home and I lay on the couch and I swear until my wife came home. Now, again, I've been busy like crazy. Almost every night of the week I'm doing something. And we just decided starting this past Thursday, last night, that I'm going to step down from this position at the church of helping the wife out. And I have free Thursday nights. I'm going to get so much done. I'm going to get stuff done for this podcast, for our websites, for like the music that I make and stuff like that. I laid on that couch and could not get up. I was in so much pain. Anytime I tried to get up, it'd be like shooting pain. And I look at my watch and it's like 7:00 and the wife's not getting home till 10. So 3 hours, I just had to sit on that couch.
Dude, you could have called me. I could have come over with some naproxen or something, dude.
I don't even know what that is, but I would have loved it.
I could have brought you some meds, bro.
So,
like you wouldn't believe.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, doing the little dance we did in the beginning of this podcast has already
you
tweaked it enough.
You hurt yourself in the
my little head bobbing dance move. So
intro.
This is gonna be weird. Me just sitting here so straight, and I'm hurting, man. I'm hurting. So I know that was a little bit of a long story,
but I liked it. It definitely moved me in a.
It all started 3 weeks ago with the march.
So no parades for you this weekend, huh?
Nope. Guess what I'm doing tonight?
Sitting in the hot water.
No, I'm going to a parade.
You're going to a parade. Oh wow, you're just beasting it.
Got to, man. You gotta keep living.
You may need those meds after all. By the way, welcome. By the way, welcome to your 30s. And also too. So does that mean you're going to be watching the Super Bowl this weekend?
You know what? I think I'm gonna watch it on my phone on that Yahoo app.
Oh yeah. Where did you hear about that? That guy show.
But I'm probably gonna watch it on my phone because I don't know if the wife's gonna be into watching it. But now I can watch it on my phone. So thank you, Yahoo. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor yet, but soon to be. We might start broadcasting on that Yahoo channel. You ever watch that?
No, there's a Yahoo channel.
Yeah, it's a Yahoo channel. They have shows and stuff on the Yahoo.
Really?
Yep. You should get the little app.
Must be really good shows because I've never heard of it.
Wow, that's hateful. But anyway,
still not a sponsor.
Well, not with those comments. So, but anyway, but yeah. So I'm pretty excited. I really don't care who wins. Honestly, it would be really great just to see the Patriots lose. I just hate the Patriots. Who doesn't? I mean, I know people don't, but they're usually just those type of people that just bandwagon fans.
No, there are. I don't care. I'm more of a dynasty fan. I like when teams win. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing New England win another one. I'd like to see Brady get another ring. I know people hate Brady, but I don't.
It's his smile. He smiles, and you just want to be like, I don't think that dude's ever been beat up like a day in his life. Like he's just like the guy that bullies people but never got bullied.
Did you see his documentary that he had made?
I saw like a little clip of it.
I don't know why I brought it up because I didn't see it. I was hoping kind of you saw it so we could.
But I did know that he like sleeps 9 hours a night and does all that kind of like weird oils and cleansing and.
Well, dude, they say that's the most important thing.
Is sleeping 9 hours?
Is sleep. It's like making sure you're getting the sleep you need to get.
Well, for the adolescent brain to develop correctly, it needs 9 hours of sleep, which is probably part of the reason we have the problems that we do.
Yeah, I got a lot of problems. I could sleep more.
It's supposedly you don't need 9 hours afterwards, but that was like some report I saw from some brain association. I don't know.
So, okay, let's go back to the Super Bowl. We're getting off topic, which is easy for us to do. But I'm not an anti-Brady person, like I mentioned. I know a lot of people. I might get a lot of flack from that. Hit it up in the comments if you like or hate Brady. But, I mean, the dude's a good quarterback. You can't deny it.
Oh, he's one of the best quarterbacks. Nobody's going to deny that.
Now, is there favoritism in the league towards the Patriots and maybe towards Tom Brady? Sure, probably.
I kind of think that the favoritism they have is really, I think they actually are hated. Like I don't think he really likes Brady at all. At least the commissioner. They've butt heads many times. I don't know. Whatever it is, I mean, they've been caught cheating multiple times and everybody makes excuses for them, but they're just super competitive, but they're really talented. Bill Belichick's probably the best coach ever to coach NFL football, and Brady's probably the best quarterback to ever play football. It just sucks that they're on the same team. And, Brady's got that smile that you just want to smack off his face every now and then. So
it is a little cocky smile.
He might not even be able to help it. I mean, it just might be the smile he's born with, but you just want to smack it off his face. I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Because I really don't know the guy at all. Like, personally speaking, like, I didn't watch no reality TV show with him. Like, I have no idea what he's like in the real world. I don't care to. I mean, he's just like a football player to me. But still, it's, anyway.
Well, so we're talking about Super Bowl predictions. Like, who do you think is going to win? All you said was, I hope Brady loses, or I hope New England loses.
Oh no, I think New England will be. I think it'll look like Philadelphia is going to win the game. Like, they're going to have a chance to win, probably at halftime, and then the Patriots will do what they always do and pull out a miracle win out of their anus. With no, there's no way that they're going to come out of halftime and win this game. It's not possible. And then somehow they just, they pull somebody off the bench you've never heard of and they score 3 touchdowns.
Like, can you imagine, like, Nick Foles against Tom Brady?
Well, maybe if they had Darren Sproles, they'd have a chance.
Sproles.
I love that guy.
But I don't know. No one's talking about the Eagles. I saw a video on YouTube of done by the NFL. What is it going to take for what is it going to take for Philadelphia to win? Can they upset? The very fact that you're calling it an upset when it's the Super Bowl just goes to show you that Philadelphia probably shouldn't have been the team in the Super Bowl. Should have been the Saints.
I certainly agree with you, but we may be slightly biased in our analysis.
I'm not biased at all. The Saints are the best team that's ever been.
Oh,
I mean, they have one Super Bowl.
We do, and it was an amazing Super Bowl.
I mean, we're still Pittsburgh playing. Has 6, but we have 1.
Literally, on my way over here, they were playing clips of like when we won the Super Bowl. Like, that's just, we still play clips of that just every day to make ourselves feel good. It was a magical time.
It's so good. So, to be honest with you, I think the Super Bowl is going to suck this year. I'm pulling for New England. I usually root for NFC teams because the Saints are an NFC team, but I like dynasties. I'd like New England to get as big as they possibly can because in hopefully 2 or 3 years from now, 4 years maybe, they're going to be like they were back in the 90s. I think it was the 90s.
Do you think Brady's going to be playing that long?
No. Well, I think when he retires. I think he'll play a little bit longer. I mean, he could retire after this season, but if you can keep getting rings, why not?
He can go out like Peyton Manning. I want a Budweiser, sit on my couch. I don't know if you remember that. No. That's like the first thing he says after he won the Super Bowl and then retired. Well, he didn't announce he was retiring, but everybody knew he was retiring.
No,
because it was pretty much a miracle win. But anyway, yeah, he said it like a bunch of times. Like, I'm just gonna give me a Budweiser. I'm gonna sit on my couch and whatever. And I'm like, okay. This is sponsored by Budweiser.
Yeah, Budweiser, a sponsor. So did you see the Grammys this past weekend?
I did not. I heard about them, and I figured I would just watch all the stuff because I pretty much figured the Grammys are it's just the man. It's all the record labels with all the people that control music, that squashed free internet music, and just give each other awards and pat each other on the back. I hate the Grammys because I just think it's all rigged.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah. I'm starting to wonder if Bono is right. We talked about that in the last episode. That I think he might be right about rock music losing its edge. And
there wasn't a single rock band. Is that a correct statement? Because I didn't.
In the general field of the awards.
I didn't. I listened. I saw the clips. I saw the winners. I didn't see one perform. I didn't even see one listed. No. I mean, is there even a rock band left?
Okay, let's go over this real quick. Album of the year. Here are the nominees for Album of the Year.
Do they even make albums? Like you still have to create an album, meaning that you have a theme and you have a set of songs. I guess there's no limit, like at least 5 songs or something that all have some kind of common theme, and therefore they're your album.
I don't know what the album consists of. I don't know if five songs is just like an EP or LP or whatever. But
I mean, like how many songs make an album? Because it used to be
I'd
like
say-
an album
I'd
was
say
12 songs, 9
to
songs,
12
10 songs.
Yeah. All right, so here's the nominees for album of the year. This is just album of the year. Childish Gambino.
That sounds fascinating.
I love
sounds
Childish.
like a
I love him.
Sounds like a spin-off series of The Godfather.
No, I love him. I think it's a good vote in. Jay-Z is another one.
I thought he retired.
I
thought he just produces and runs music. Does
I
he?
feel
I
like
thought
he
retired.
retires every
Okay.
album. Kendrick Lamar.
There you go. There's a guy I know.
Now Kendrick Lamar damn, that was a good album. He needs to be up there. Lord.
Well, got to give props to the Lord. I mean, I'd vote him in.
That's a girl.
Oh, sorry.
I this is gonna sound really bad. It's gonna sound really sexist, but I feel like with this list here, because I think I've listened to the album a couple times. Maybe I got to give it more of a chance, but I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know if they just needed a woman in there.
Try to balance it out.
I don't know if it's balancing it out when there's 4 dudes and 1 chick.
But
I don't know. But I think there was other better stuff out there besides Lord.
is she like an Asian chick, or I mean, do they have some diversity in this list?
No.
No,
Well, I mean,
it's just-
she's the only white person.
Oh, she's a white person. Well, let's have a little balance
I mean,
there.
I don't know. I don't know if she's full on white or something.
I don't know. I thought you were
She's
talking.
interestingly.
I
she's
thought
an
you were
interesting
talking about the
looking
Lord
girl.
on high, so I really had no idea
No.
that was even a
Well,
person.
he'd be Middle Eastern, but if it was Jesus.
Well, yeah.
All right, and then Bruno Mars. Everybody loves Bruno Mars.
Well, and he's the poster child for, $1 million, corporations. So there you go.
So guess who won?
Actually, I have no idea. I should have remembered this, but let me just guess. I'm just gonna guess Bruno Mars.
Yes.
Oh, is that correct?
Bruno Mars won for 24K. Magic. You don't get anything rock until you get to the rock section, the rock field. Best rock performance.
Let me guess. They drug up some like old ass band like the Red Hot Chili Peppers out of retirement.
Not yet. They never retired.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
They should have.
No, what? No, they're awesome.
I know you're only saying that though because the record labels made
No,
you think that.
I'm saying that because that was like my first concert.
Well, yeah, when we were like kids, like 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure there's a couple of talented bands at this point that could make some music.
There are, but some of them still are not as good as Foo Fighters and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah,
I
well, the Red Hot
apologize.
Chili Peppers need to keep their clothes on, okay, and need to retire.
Okay. Did you say the Foo Fighters need to?
No, I did not say the Foo Fighters need
Okay,
to.
because
They can stick around and play the casinos for a while. I'm okay with that.
No, dude, Foo Fighters. Man, I love me some Dave Grohl.
I
Okay,
know.
so best rock performance. You Want It Darker by Leonard Cohen.
Okay, I respect.
The Promise by Chris Cornell.
Okay, I thought he died.
He did, and so did Leonard Cohen. Run. Leonard Cohen was a dude that did Hallelujah.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
real
Oh,
old dude.
oh, that's why. That's right. They were like friends. So one killed himself and the other one felt bad about it. And
No.
No. Okay.
Wrong people.
All right. Whatever.
That was Chester Bennington
Oh yeah.
from Linkin
Yeah.
Park. It was
There you
close
go.
friends with Chris Cornell.
And now I'm on board.
Okay. Run by Foo Fighters.
Okay.
No Good by Calio. I don't know who that is. And Go to War by Nothing More. Again, I don't know who that is. 3 of these bands, at least 3 that I know of, because I don't know the other 2, are kind of old school. And one dude is like super old. 2 of them are dead. Leonard Cohen won Best Rock Performance. It's insane. I don't get it. Best Metal. I don't really care. Sorry, guys. Best Rock Song.
What's wrong with you?
Metallica, K-Flay, Nothing More, Foo Fighters, Avenged Sevenfold. Foo Fighters won. Best Rock Album. Mastodon, Metallica, Nothing More, Queens of the Stone Age, The War on Drugs, and The War on Drugs won. But, dude, the Grammys, hip-hop and R&B is taking over the world.
Yeah, it's like all there is.
It is all there is, man.
And I think it's just, I think it's just, I guess they just do what makes them the money. But I think rock music too is, it's a lot harder to maintain. Like I think that when when it was at its prime and internet just busted out and you could download music off of Napster, there were bands being made without record labels, without the radio, and it threatened the entire system that they built.
Absolutely.
And it didn't need Hollywood, it didn't need the movies, didn't need the record plays. You could just get your stuff out there on the MySpace. You could get your stuff out there on the Napster, and that was it, dude. Bands were touring, and it just goes to show you how like locked down these people are and how powerful they are. Because once they were able to kill free music online, they were able to lock that down. Then they were able to recontrol the record labels, refilter all this old music that they owned back to the next generation. At the time, MTV was still like a big player, which they're not so much anymore, but they were. And they were able to just take bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which were a perfectly fine band, and Foo Fighters, and all the bands that they already owned, and they just were like, we're going to take the bands that we own, and we're going to reach back into time, and we're going to take stuff like the Sex Pistols, and we're going to re-give this back to this generation. And they took it. I mean, those kids are listening to Ramones and Sex Pistols, all these like old bands they just like started listening to all over again, you know? And so they repackaged rock music, and they took what was old and they took what they already owned, and then they were just like, we're going to crush anyone who doesn't fall into that. Yeah. And, you know, rock and roll really was the last stick it to the man, because, and not to quote one of my favorite movies of all time, but in School of Rock, he does make the point, right? Rock was always stick it to the man, and the last stand was Metallica and the entire corporate world versus the last few punk rockers who were sticking it to the man, saying, we don't need a record label, we don't need you, we're going to do our music straight to the people, and we're going to bring rock back.
Yeah.
And they managed to quell shit. Now look, there's great bands out there now. They're all over the internet. They're touring, they're doing their thing, but they have been kept from mainstream media, mainstream movies. They've been kept from the radio. They've been kept from streaming services. And you're just not going to hear them until we can break through this barrier that all of these big companies have tried to put on rock music. Rock music is, I think, the biggest threat to the institution of music, which is why they have put it on lockdown, and they don't want to have new rock bands coming up. They just want to take what they already own and control it.
Well, it's funny you say that, because there was a time when, I mean, that's what hip hop was and rap was. Rap was, especially back.
Oh yeah, it started the underground
in the late '80s and in the early '90s is when it was starting to come up, and people were still afraid. You know, gosh, there's a line in a song. I'm gonna butcher it. I don't remember who it is, but basically, he makes a comment like, you know, the record labels act like they know me, but you really know what I'm like, and you don't like it. But that's how greedy the record labels are. Is they still try and put these hip hop artists into this box. You have to be this certain way, and it's like, well, you knew me beforehand. I'm not going to change who I am, and that's one thing I feel like rock music kind of has done, is changed. Now, as a fan of hip hop, there's definitely a big difference between what you hear in the radio and what you hear online streaming, right? Because when I stream stuff, I can go find anything. What you hear on the radio is what they say is popular. And it's only popular because it's the only thing you play, and that's the only thing you're requested. But there's other stuff that would be a lot more popular, in my opinion. But the whole reason why I went into this whole Grammy thing to talk about it was, one, we talk about music on the show. But two, I want to see next year for the Grammys, I want to come back to this podcast, and I want to see if we have any more rock guys on there. Because first and foremost, we come from a background of rock. I do appreciate a lot of hip hop. I'm glad to see a lot of names on there that I don't think may have gotten that success or that what's the word I'm looking for?
And so where was 21 Pilots on that list? Were they nominated for nothing?
No, because they haven't had an album out in 2 years.
But like, that's another thing that I can never figure out, because they have these artists. I'm like, these people did not put an album out in the last year. That some of those albums came out almost 2 years ago. And
no,
when you consider the album actually coming out, because they'll release one song and then they release everything else later.
So I don't remember this. That's a good topic. maybe for a future podcast of talking about how award shows work, because there's a certain time frame that is allowed. So, like this was the 2017 Grammys. But if you put an album out, and I'm going to get this wrong, but like, let's say you put an album out in November, you may have missed the cut for the 2017 Grammys, even though the 2017 Grammys
Right, because
is
they
in
have all the
2018
voting and everything.
Yeah, so a lot of times you'll see like the Oscar movies, like they talk about the movies that are pushing for the Oscars, like they'll come out right before Oscar season because it's gonna be fresh in your mind. It's a really good movie, but it still fits within that time frame.
Yeah, that's don't even get me started on the Oscars. I already went on my rant.
Right.
Let's move on to our fun topic.
So we'll see what happens in a year.
Yeah.
And I'd like to come back and revisit it since we talk about music. But
yeah, I like that. We can montage shows together for a
Right.
whole decade and be
Yes.
like, what it was like
after 100 shows, I think we can go syndication.
Yeah. Holla.
Hello.
Anyway, so
let's go to the hole in the wall, man.
So if you guys don't know, if you want to request one of our main topics that we're going to delve into, to do that, all you have to do is send us a message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, MySpace, whatever. Okay. Do they even still have MySpace?
They do.
Oh, okay.
My account still works.
Your old account?
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
that's
been-
awesome.
It's been converted and it's weird. And I don't even remember if there's still
Can
pictures
you
on it.
still play music when people go to your page? Because that was my favorite
No, it's different
part.
now. It's
yeah,
different
it's
now.
because they destroyed free music.
But
on
I was
the
able to
internet.
log in, and basically it was like you're a legacy member.
My favorite part about MySpace was you could put whatever song you wanted. So like when people visited your page, you would just like, it would just be like, ooh, ah, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
dude, what's this guy's page is like rocking music on or whatever. But yeah, no, anyway, sorry.
No.
Flashback.
I'm telling you right now, if Facebook went the way of the dodo bird and all of a sudden MySpace came back, I'd be a pig and slop.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm just going to let that
I'd
ride.
be happy as a pig and slop.
Oh, happy as a pig and slop. Okay. So look, if you want to be part, have us talk about some issue, topic, whatever, all you have to do is send us a message on social media, or you can even make a comment in YouTube, but it's probably safer to send us a direct message. But either way, however you want to get it to us, we love hearing from you guys, and it gives us cool things to talk about. So our topic today,
Or just ask a question in general,
or just ask
you
a
know?
question. It doesn't have to be a big topic, and we'll
Yeah.
try to answer it. So let's go ahead. Let's take the hole in the wall. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see this amazing event as it occurs every week on That Guy Show. It is
By the
quite
way,
amazing.
I know we just went to the wall, but I don't know if you guys have noticed since our last show, but we did some decorating.
We have spiced it up a bit. I'll have to say.
We have an Explore thing. We've got a mini guitar. We have an Asian-inspired lamp now. Got to have tools. Rules for tools. How do you point? I always forget how to point. Oh my gosh, why is my hand not working, dude?
Your hand doesn't. It's your back. It's your back's wigging out, dude.
There it is. There it is. That one right there. We got tool rules thingy, and then my favorite is the walking stick.
That was my contribution to the man room. I brought a walking stick
can
that my
still-
wife hates and is always like, why do we have a stick? And I was like, it's for walking. And
Duh.
if I ever need to walk in a rocky territory, I need my walking stick.
I swear, only you would own a walking stick.
I love that walking stick. Got that in the Grand Canyon. That thing kept me alive.
It's
That thing has seen some story. If that walking stick could talk, it would tell you stories of untold peril.
I feel like that's the walking stick that when people actually have walking sticks, like the carbon fiber folding up ones, they look at you and they're like, he bought that from the Grand Canyon gift shop. I think you can actually see right here. That's not glare. I think that's the price tag sticker.
All right, shut up. I may not have gotten that price tag sticker off yet, but it's so smooth in your hand.
When did you go to the Grand Canyon?
Went to the Grand Canyon in college. We took a trip. Why are you laughing?
Because you said you haven't been able to get it off yet. I don't know if you noticed, but Matt's really good at getting stuff done.
All right. Anyway, so
Just kidding.
we have our topic today comes from Patrice in Idaho.
Patrice?
Yeah. So apparently you don't have to be a guy to be a fan of the Guy Show.
No, we accept all walks.
Yeah.
of life.
And Idaho, that's awesome. Talk about a good place for hiking is some Idaho where I will bring my stick when I go hiking.
You ever been to Idaho?
Yes, I've been to Idaho.
Oh, I've never been.
I've been to Idaho. My brother-in-law lives in Idaho. It's a
that's
beautiful
right.
place.
I was gonna make fun of it, but I won't.
Mountain Home, baby. Bam. Mountain Home, give you shout out. Anyway,
Is that the name of the town?
No, this Patrice is not from Mountain Home. She's from Boise. Anyway, so the question is, why do guys like horror movies, and what are your favorite horror movie of all time? So that's a pretty deep question. Why do guys like horror movies? And, I was literally watching an episode of The Office yesterday, and it was funny because, like, the girl on there was like, she's playing this game with her boyfriend, and whoever wins picks the movie. And so all of his movies were like Rosemary Baby, like Dracula, Carrie, and she just wants to watch. Yeah, she just wants to watch like Disney movies and WALL-E and stuff. And so it was funny because it was like the perfect segue to what I knew we were talking about today. Was that question from Patrice? So anyway, it's an interesting topic. Why do guys like horror movies? Will?
I don't.
What?
I mean, I like zombie flicks, but like...
Well, and actually, since I did a little research, zombie is one of the horror cycles, so zombie films have come up, over, and horror is a very interesting historical topic in the sense that it does cycle, right? Your creature flicks and your horror and your thriller and your this, and they really do cycle over time, and it's just kind of like the rebirth of one of the 4 or 5 major cycles in horror flicks.
And when I say I like zombie flicks and zombie stuff, I'm talking, I have not seen Walking Dead.
You've not watched the show The Walking Dead?
I've watched the first episode. A lot of times when you're, at least for me, when I'm married, I like to do stuff with my wife.
Right.
And so if she doesn't like watching a show, then that's cool. We don't watch the show. Not that she controls the TV, but
well, I know
we watch stuff that we like to watch, and The Walking Dead is something that she would watch, but sometimes it just, when you have those cliffhangers, we can't go to sleep at night, not because we're scared, but because you gotta watch the next episode, and we just can't do those shows anymore. So The Walking Dead is one of those shows.
Well, lucky for you, they're like on season 5 now-ish. When I say 5, I mean 5-ish, okay? Because I'm not really big on details. But anyway, so you can easily now binge it and then stop it whenever it is appropriate.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of hard because like everybody's now is like a zombie fan, and everybody loves zombies, and everybody's all like The Walking Dead is the best thing that's ever been created. And I'm like, cool, that's awesome. But like, I'm not a bandwagon zombie guy.
So now you purposefully won't let yourself like something because it's too popular, because you want to be on the, you just want to be cool. You want to be B-flick.
Okay. That's kind of true, and that goes to
I'm with you there sometimes. I'm there fashion-wise. Okay. There's times when I'm like that too. Like, it gets so popular, I'm like, okay, this is ruined. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped wearing Vans after a while, in the late 90s because.
I see you got them on now, dude.
Well, yeah, because it's cool now. But there's in certain times where you're just like, things get overkill, and you're like, you know what? I gotta make a switch.
Well, okay. I know this is getting a little off topic.
Oh, it's on topic.
But I just watched Star Wars.
Like
for the first time.
The OG Star Wars or one of the newer?
No, like any Star Wars. Like, yeah, the OG Star Wars.
Oh, okay. Like the original, the original, like, Lucasfilms.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're all Lucasfilms, but yeah.
Well, not really, because the man's dead. The man is dead, and Disney owns Star Wars. I'm pretty sure George Lucas is dead.
No, George Lucas is still alive.
I think everybody's dead. I'm pretty sure George. I'm gonna fact check you on that. Don't pull your phone out right now. We have a lot going on, and we don't need to be distracted by your tangents.
Oh, really? Is George Lucas dead?
George Lucas was born May 14th, 1944.
Wait for it.
73 years old.
Never mind.
Thank you. Love Siri.
George, if you're listening to the podcast, I truly apologize. And I don't blame you for selling your soul to Disney. I really don't. I would do the same thing.
Lucasfilms, not a sponsor.
I would totally do the same thing. I'm not judging you at all. Disney, take it. I'm going to spend the last few years of my life living it up.
So my wife is like, she's a Star Wars fan. And she's like, how have you not watched any of these Star Wars? And I was like, baby, we've been together for almost 12 freaking years. We've been married for 7.5 of those years. What do you mean?
Like, she would know.
Like, you would have shown them to me if you're that big of a Star Wars fan. You would have been there. And she was like, no, but I didn't know the extent of, like, how much you didn't watch it. And it's not like it's something that we watch on the reg, right? So anyway, I watched Star Wars. She watched them all with me. And, yeah, it was good. It was okay.
Funny story about Star Wars. Not funny story, but you said that and it made me think of something. When the Star Wars came out again, remember they remastered them, digitally mastered them. Me and my dad went to all of the movies. It's like one of those father-son memories, you know what I mean? Like I don't know why. I guess I had never watched them either. I had seen parts of Star Wars, but I had never really watched the whole
But you
Star
were a kid
Wars.
when this happened?
I guess I
school?
was like middle school. I don't know if I was quite high school yet, but it was probably like that junior high kind of age. And they were re-putting out all of the Star Wars, and then they went back and did, episode 1 and 2, which, some people hated, other people whatever. I liked them all. But so I went back and I went and watched them with my dad, which was just like a really cool. And so with Star Wars, I have that that was me and my dad's show. You know what I mean? Kind of like a really cool experience, which I think can really translate, not like we watched horror movies together, but I think there's that there's a whole genre of like war-like movies.
Yeah.
And horror movies fall into that because, to answer Patrice's question, which is what got us started on all of this, but it's the fact that there is something in men, where we want to conquer the demon, the monster, the bad guy. We want to defy all odds.
Yeah.
We want to go up against oppression, destroy it, and rescue the beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I think those are kind of like, and even though like in modern, in any kind of film, this can get twisted around, and we certainly have very vilified, glorifying the villain, kind of things happening now in movies, but there is still this desire to rescue the beautiful, right? And just to fight, to survive, even in The Walking Dead, it's like the drive to never give up, to fight, and even when all humanity falls around you, and even in The Walking Dead, and I know that you don't watch it, but the first seasons of Walking Dead, it's like you're afraid of zombies, right? The most terrifying thing in the world in The Walking Dead is if you see a person. Like now, if there is a random person and you don't know them, you just see them, like 1,000 zombies is not scary. Humans are the most scary and terrifying people of all, because they are so much worse than the zombies.
So are they trying to, this is a commentary on society?
Absolutely, yeah. On the breakdown of society and and who survives, right, that kind of thing.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Okay, so my issue with, The Walking Dead is a whole other topic. Maybe we should have a show where you convince me to watch stuff that I purposely will not watch, right? But horror movies at one time, I liked the old Twilight Zone, which I know is kind of sci-fi-ish. I can watch Psycho and things like that, Birds, and the fun little horror type flicks.
And then what about Tales from the Crypt? Do you remember those?
Well, yes, but I mean there was a certain time that movies just went to crap, and that's why sometimes I kind of like B movies, B movie horror movies, because they're a little bit more fun. They're a little bit more campy. What I don't like is I know I'm gonna get I might get some flack, not a lot, but I might get some flack from some listeners and stuff like that. But pointless boobs in movies. I don't want to see pointless boobs in movies.
Well,
it just seems like horror was if there wasn't a sex scene, or if there wasn't a girl swimming in a lake naked, because that happens all the time.
Well, right, especially right before a monster jumps out of the lake and eats her.
Right, and so it's I don't want to have to watch a movie and turn my head,
But I think that even though I do agree with you that there's a lot of pointless nudity, which I mean obviously is one of those things that B movies use because they lack the special effects, or they lack the ability to get the most famous beautiful actress to play the damsel in distress. I think it does play to the concept of monsters are killing beautiful women, guys come in to try and rescue them, to save the day. And I think that it is part of that cycle, even though, it can be, cheesed up a lot, and it can also be pointless, like you said.
I don't know. So with the horror movies, I kind of lost interest in anything from the 70s and 80s. And I mean, there's some stuff that's good. But
well, like you said, though, those things that they cycle, and it's interesting that you brought up Twilight Zone, because the cool thing about the Twilight Zone, if you remember, was every episode was like its own random short story, like an Edgar Allan Poe, which, one of the old school, inspirations of horror movies, came from redoing some of Edgar Allan Poe's work. And, it's like the Twilight Zone was, they were mind trips, you know what I mean? It was kind of like these creepy, like what ifs, and they took all the different little genres of horror and kind of like mixed it in with their little shows. And
but they were also talking about stuff that like nobody was talking about on TV or film in general at the time. Like they were going into like this deep psychological realm of like, this is society. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's interesting that now Netflix and Amazon both have their own reincarnation of the Twilight Zone that are on right now.
Like it's like Twilight Zone came back?
Well, it's not the Twilight Zone, but they have Black Mirror on Netflix, and it's just like that. It's literally like these little 40-minute shows, and it's just a standalone Mind Below, if you will. And I've only seen about 3 or 4 of them, and I didn't really watch them in order. So I just kind of, once I realized what the show is about.
Watch them in order.
Well, right. I watched like maybe the first 2, and I was like, how are these 2 connected? They're not at all. Oh, okay. So then I just watched random ones, but they're very interesting. I mean, they're like about, that kind of like, I mean, it is kind of that horror movie type thing, but it's more in line with, I guess, the typical Twilight Zone kind of stuff. But it talks about society, how technology is basically like destroying us, destroying our ability to love. Like this whole one episode is all about this guy who, just trips out over like, his girlfriend's past because they have it recorded. Like they have a device in your eye that records your whole life and you can just save it. And he basically like looked at all his like, his girlfriend or wife's like past life, and he couldn't get over it because he could literally rewind and be there. Like, you know what I mean?
So
that's crazy.
That sounds like Twilight Zone.
Right. As crazy as that sounds, it's not actually that inconceivable that we would be able to have a device that just records our everyday facial recognition.
Snapchat glasses and
right.
Google Glass. So I mean,
and so it won't be that far away that something like that could be true. And I could just have a file of Will, and whenever I search Will's face, all my memories or videos from things that happened with you pop up. So it's just
do you
crazy.
Think this is going to be like a resurgence of that type of genre?
Well, it seems to be very popular.
What's the Amazon one?
The Amazon,
because I have Amazon.
I have to look up what the Amazon one is called because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Because we got rid of Netflix, so.
I'm sorry. Did you say you got rid of Netflix?
Yeah, not a sponsor.
Who gets rid of Netflix? It's like the best $9 of your life. What other value do you get for $9 than all the TV shows and movies you could watch?
That's gonna sound really bad. Do you want the honest answer, or do you want me?
Of course, I want the honest answer. You spend $9 and you have access to Netflix.
So we're getting rid of stuff so we can spend more time together, me and the wife.
Well, that's not a bad reason to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, so the $9 isn't worth crap when I can spend it with the old lady.
But you can spend time with her and just still have a Netflix account.
No, but then you're just wasting money.
Do you have cable?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had cable in years.
Yeah,
I was like one of the first to ever cut the cord.
I cut the cord way before you, dude.
Oh, BS.
Oh, not BS.
Wait, when you were like a friar?
First of all, don't say it like that.
When you were a
2,
monk?
I did cut the cord prior to that. I would say that was like 2008 I cut the cord. So when did you cut the cord?
About the same time.
So yeah, so it's called Electric Dreams. And I have not watched it, so I can't like vouch for it, but I do know that I read an article that it's just like Black Mirror. So it's Amazon's response, and I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show, but either way,
I'm gonna check it out,
it's supposed to be it's supposed to be just like that, the same mode as that Twilight Zone.
That's pretty cool.
So it does cycle. Horror movies have a tendency to just cycle. But what was the scariest movie you ever watched?
Man, like ever?
And I think that I think it's true that it all depends. I think everyone's scariest movie is when they were a teenager. That's my just my theory, but I don't know if that's true.
Well, see, the only horror movie I ever remember seeing in high school was I Know What You Did Last Summer, like 2 or 3.
Because you were there at the rebirth. Actually, I want to say that was the birth of the teen horror, right? Like teen horror movies were birthed like there, and then you had Scream that came out like right after that, And I think that was the birth of what I think is now generally referred to as the teen horror.
But the scariest movie that I ever saw was Child's Play. The Chucky movies.
Chucky. Oh, don't mess with Chucky.
You want to know when I saw that?
When did you see that?
When I was 5.
Yeah, that I don't.
Maybe 4.
I'm pretty sure that was at least PG-13.
Oh, at least. It was
Probably
R.
are.
That was a movie that the babysitter brought friends over to watch.
Oh.
And I watched it. And I can remember my mom being so pissed because I'd be up at night, like, not being able to sleep because of it.
Yeah, that can be pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it was freaking crazy. I never owned a My Buddy.
Oh, what about a Roxaberry?
No, that bear's going to eat my face, dude.
That bear's going to just come alive. And he had the creepy blink, too. You
I
can't
know.
be trusting dolls that blink.
No, so that's the scary. What about you?
So scariest movie I ever saw.
You were a teenager in high school, right?
Yeah, scariest movie I ever saw, and it's don't make fun of me, but it was the Blair Witch Project. And it wasn't because we knew what was going on, because it was really right before. It's probably one of the first full feature films, at least that I had ever heard of, that were told from the first person perspective like that.
Like that found footage style.
Right, that
Yeah.
found footage style. And we actually we were the exact crowd that made that movie popular, because we didn't go to the movies that night to go see Blair Witch. We went to the movies that night to see some other movie.
And snuck in?
No, and it was sold out. And so the Blair Witch got a lot of random people that were just like, yeah, sure, I'll just go see some random horror movie. And then they walked in thinking this was like a real documentary, like this was really found footage. Like there wasn't a lot of special effects in the movie that would make you think
Right.
that it was fake. You know what I mean? So we were like the perfect prey. You know, the internet, wasn't quite as reliable back then. You couldn't just ask Siri if something was made up, and we were terrified. I mean, we were grown men. There was like 5 of us. I don't even know why. I really think there was like 3 or 4 of us. There was just dudes. And we went to the movies to see something else. We saw Blair Witch, and we all ended up sleeping at someaned house.
Dude, that's funny.
We were like grown men, and because I remember my buddy was going to his house. I don't want to name any names, but I hid in the bushes, like in front of the house. So when he was coming out of his house to go to my minivan, because I was that guy that drove the minivan everywhere.
Yeah.
Because I was like the youngest child, and I drove the minivan, which was actually made me somewhat more popular. Anyway, but yeah, so he came out, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was like, "Oh!" And he ran and jumped into the van. So anyway, it's ridiculous.
That's awesome,
we
dude.
were like a bunch of teenage girls that night. Definitely happened. But I mean, as a younger than that, I mean, my parents definitely didn't let me watch any horror movies.
Right.
I had to go to my friend's house and then watch horror movies there. But we watched the Candymans when I was like in middle school, and those were terrifying. Like there was one in New Orleans. I don't know why that one. I think it was just because I lived in New Orleans, and
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
I see New Orleans on this thing. It's like watching an Unsolved Mysteries, and then you in your area.
I love
that show would creep me out to no end.
Yeah.
I would watch Unsolved Mysteries, and I could not sleep after Unsolved Mysteries.
Do you remember Are You Afraid of the Dark?
No, I loved Are You Afraid? Now that was the only
Snick?
show I could actually watch. Like only like scary show that,
and, like,
I was allowed to watch.
Goosebumps and stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah, Goosebumps.
Those are good stuff when I was a kid. That was good horror, because horror is supposed to just be suspenseful. You're not sure what's going to happen. Maybe a little
Some adventure.
like a jump out scare type stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing too gory, nothing too crazy, nothing too graphic, and it just keeps you on the edge of your seat. Let your imagination do the rest. I don't need to see the rest. Like, let my imagination screw with my head,
Yeah.
That's what those shows did. And those are kids shows.
Yeah,
It does
they
so
were-
much better than what horror movies do, in my opinion.
Well, I will say I don't know if any scary series like for kids even exist. I mean, I can't even think of one. But the Are You Afraid of the Darks were really cool. I mean, the whole setup was cool. I mean, even though it's probably not allowed anymore since they sneak out of their house. And that's how every
Right.
show
Yeah.
starts, is the kids sneak out of their house, go into the middle of the woods, and start a fire. Pretty much the 3 things you're never supposed to do as a minor.
Well,
okay?
you could do that as a 90s kid, though.
Oh, yeah. 90s kid, that was still acceptable.
Oh, yeah.
And your parents couldn't call you if they noticed that you snuck out of the house, because there was
Nobody had cell phones.
Right. You just had to sneak back in the house, and then your parents turned the lamp on, and they were sitting there, which was more terrifying than any story you told at the campfire.
True story.
is that mom is standing there.
So yeah, Are You Afraid of the Dark was legit.
Absolutely. No, I
all
love
those
those shows.
shows.
They were really good. And it's got to be hard to write a horror film, scary movie for kids, because you have to be scary. You have to have somewhat of a good story, but you can't be too gory. You can't be too graphic. Like,
Right.
You know, and this might be getting a little too deep, but you know how like comedy can get like slapstick?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of like, I feel like comedy goes slapstick. You know, things like Dumb and Dumber, which is absolutely hilarious. All right. Don't worry. I'm a limo driver. And they can be hilarious, but an only way to be more funny slapstick wise is to be stupider and stupider. And then you're at Dude, Where's My Car? And then it just, you know what I mean? And then it just keeps spiraling out of control. And then it stops being funny. I think horror movies run that same risk, which is why in horror movies they have a natural reset, which is the cycle, right? It goes from starting with like your creature films, like your aliens, then your werewolves, then your zombies, then it goes back to the psychological thriller. I think that's why there's these cycles in horror movies. But in comedy, they don't have that. It's just like slapsticks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when Chris Farley and John Candy died, then later on Chris Farley dies, and then it just comedy just died. I mean, there's slapstick movies, but there's not like old school Eddie Murphy movies. You know, there's not like movies that are funny from beginning to the end.
No.
And they're not like super slapstick or over the top caricatures of a person that doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, they're just really well written movies, and there's just like very realistic scenes that are hilarious that happen over and over again. Like they just, you know, and I feel like horror movies do that too. It's like they just go to the gore, or they go to the nakedness, or they actually, I can't remember what those movies are, but there's a whole set of movies that are just like, you know, they're more torture oriented, and they're just like horrifying and
disgusting.
And they just go to that extreme, and people like that, but it hits a brick wall, and you can't shock someone. You just shocked to like the umpteenth. You have to make up a scenario that's even more horrifying.
Yeah.
And you just can't top yourself, and it just gets ridiculous.
It gets so bad.
And then they got to cycle out. But I don't know if zombies are going anywhere. I mean, zombies should be cycling out because they're kind of like overdone. They've already started parody zombies, but I don't know. I don't think they're going anywhere.
I mean, to me, once you do a zombie flick, you've done them all. Once you do the first one, but they're just so good. I'll keep watching them.
I mean,
except for Walking Dead. But Patrice, I just want to say thanks, Patrice.
Yeah, thanks, Patrice, because you just got a mission that I have now, which is to get Will to watch The Walking Dead.
Yes.
So I will try to get him to do it. Not that it's the greatest show ever, but it is a good show. And actually, you know, it's a show that's frustrated me because I've actually gone a year without watching it. Like I've stopped watching it.
Are you trying to build up to binge?
I've stopped watching it. I've just been like, you know what? I'm not watching this anymore. And then I'll watch it again. And they do have a tendency to they have learned from their earlier mistakes or their earlier episodes, and they've really grown. And now, like I said before, I mean, the show is a reflection into the depth of humanity, into how honorable and how horrible any human person could be in any given situation, and how easy it is to let the honorable bow to the dishonorable in each person.
Interesting.
And on that, I drop the mic and walk away.
So, good episode, man. Good talking.
Yeah, I like talking to you. We should do a show together.
You want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's start like a website too.
Well, let's do that. Speaking of websites, hey, thank you for listening, first of all, to That Guy's Show.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. You guys who have been listening, our show did really good the last episode. Between YouTube and SoundCloud, just for the first time, and not really promoting it that much besides just like through friends.
And having zero subscribers.
Zero subscribers, and podcasts aren't something that anybody I know personally listens to. I listen to podcasts all the time.
I listen to podcasts. You know me personally.
Right. Well, okay. So us too.
Okay, we listen to podcasts.
But we've had like almost 500 or 450, views and listens.
Right.
From our first episode, and I thought that was really awesome. And
yeah, that was definitely better than we were expecting.
Yeah. So if you are a returning listener, please pass this along, share along. Please like, comment, subscribe. But if you like what we do, if you like what you're listening to, not just on That Guy Show, but also me and Elisa's show, or Elisa and I's show.
Hubby Wifey Show.
The Hubby Wifey Show, podcast about marriage. We also do YouTube videos with it. And then the girls, Elisa and Mary from The Wise Fools, do Messy Buns.
Messy Buns.
So you have 3 shows
I
right
listened to some of the Messy Buns. It was really interesting, but I felt like I shouldn't have been listening. Like I felt like I was intruding on like our show.
That's
like
what makes it so good.
Our show is like anyone can listen to this. I mean, clearly Patrice listens, but like when I listen to the Messy Bun Show, like I feel like I'm like listening to something I'm not supposed to be hearing. Like I'm at my sister's room and I'm like leaning through the door and learning all kind of secrets about women that I'm not supposed to know that they talk about.
Well, maybe it's a good thing that we listen to it.
I don't know. Maybe so.
And if you search for Wise Fools Media on Facebook, if you search for Wise Fools Media on Instagram, if you search for Wise Fools Media on Twitter, you will find us. So we're all over the social medias. We are on Stitcher. We're on SoundCloud. We're on YouTube. Thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for supporting us.
Keep it real.
Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing on YouTube. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode.
See you next week.
Matt, I'm out.
Out.
Peace.
Don't hurt your back, old
We don't
man.
know how to end these podcasts whatsoever.
We were gonna figure out a way to end that podcast.
Maybe you guys can help us. Let us know how we should end these shows.
We need to have maybe we already got the hole in the wall. I don't know what we need.
Is there a thing?
A Shazam.
Well, we should have an outro song.
We need an outro song.
Okay, we'll play it right now. Right now.
Start outro.
Outro here.
I know I will run through heaven's brim.